Okay, lots of disappointment as those clinics across the city close their doors. This comes as Toronto's top doctor reassures residents about the safety of the incoming Johnson & Johnson vaccine. Mayor John Tory joins us now for his weekly check-in. Good morning, Mayor. I'm sure you can feel the frustration coming from residents who, some of them had booked their vaccines and now they no longer have these appointments. Any word on when we could see the shortage coming to an end?
Well, I don't want to make any commitments based on schedules we've received, because we've received schedules. We receive them sort of on a modified basis every day, and perhaps that's the problem. I mean, people who work in this area of deliveries and logistics understand there are changes that take place, but there have been a number of delays, a number of changes, such that the real problem here is not the booking of too many appointments. It is not the opening of too many clinics. It is not somehow a mismanagement in running those clinics. I think there were some places where more appointments were booked than there was reason to believe there would be vaccine supply. The real problem is a supply problem. The city and its hospital partners have enough capacity to ramp things up considerably beyond where they are today, but there isn't the supply to put the vaccine into people's arms. No point having an appointment at a clinic if there's no vaccine when you get there. So that is the problem. Some of it has been the result of delays that have taken place beyond the schedule that was set to receive certain amounts on certain days. And again, you'll understand that these clinics, many of them not operated by the city, operated by hospitals and so on, made appointments for people on the basis of their expectation as to the vaccine they would have. And so it's a real problem. I understand the frustration completely, and we feel the frustration too, because we want to, and we have been ready to for weeks and weeks, put vaccine into people's arms. That's the city's job, is to have these clinics ready to put a needle in people's arms to get them protected against this virus. And, we have the capacity to do more and to meet the Premier's target, which I'm really anxious to do. He wanted to get 40% of the population vaccinated by the time this stay-at-home thing runs out on May the 5th, and we're all in for that.
And Mayor Tory, I have to ask you, just for the people who've had their appointments canceled or delayed, what happens in this case? Are they able to do they have to get back to the back of the line again, or are they going to kind of be prioritized when you get more vaccines?
Faiza, I don't know the answer to that question. In the case of the city-run clinics, and I keep my fingers crossed in saying this, we haven't had to cancel any appointments because we've very precisely scheduled them so that there is an appointment representing each dose of vaccine and vice versa. And our deliveries have come of the Pfizer vaccine each time they've been expected to come. They come once a week, and we then allocate them across that week. So I will look into that and get back to BT with an answer, because it seems fair that they shouldn't have to line up again, because they lined up once already and did what they were asked to do, which is to book an appointment. But I just don't know the answer, since most of those appointments are not appointments made with us through the provincial booking system, but rather many of them are made with the hospital booking systems and so on, the ones that have been canceled. But I will get an answer on that ASAP, because I think people are deserving of an answer to that question. And I don't believe, if it's at all possible, that we should just tell them to go back to the back of the line again.
We definitely appreciate that, Mayor Tory, and I know that the situation is changing hourly for you, and you're getting new information, so I definitely appreciate you getting back to us. I have to ask you, we're seeing a second field hospital tents going up at Sunnybrook today, and this comes just after the shutdown, lockdown, break, whatever you want to call it. Any good news there? Are these measures working, Toronto, or is it too early to tell?
I think it's too early to tell. What you see is the case counts kind of staying around the same level. They're not rising as steeply as they were before. But I think that we all have to remember here is that when you impose measures like this, like a more severe stay-at-home situation, it does take 10 days or more because of the incubation period of the virus and so on, for it to kick in and start to show improved numbers. So if people are following the rules, and I get a little worried when I see some of those traffic videos, even with a jam up on the 401, you still wonder, who are all the people in all those cars? Are they all essential workers? So I hope people are following the rules. And if they are, then you would expect to see, in a few days from now, the beginnings of some flattening out of those numbers, and then maybe the numbers turning down, which is, of course, what we all want to see.
I'd like to talk to you about a Toronto staple. Hopefully it'll put a smile on our viewers' face. Let's talk cherry blossoms. I don't know if you heard, we have about 30 seconds, but Sid 60 said that he's not a fan.
Well, poor Sid. I mean, he just I don't know. I mean, he needs to get a life. Actually, he does. It's what I think it's perhaps because he's being made to get up too early in the morning now, and he's becoming cranky. But the cherry blossoms are beautiful. We're asking people to watch them on the Bloom Cam again this year. We're going to keep High Park open. We're going to really try to keep the rest of the park open, unlike last year when we closed it, so people can walk and jog and cycle. But we're going to fence off the trees so that people will stay away from the trees, and hopefully that will work. But people will be able to see the Bloom Cam. It'll be on 24/7. And people can watch this magnificent, display of nature. And poor Sid. I mean, he just we need to sort of get him into the game here and have him start enjoying some of the fruits of life as opposed to just getting up in the dark, going to sleep in the dark, and just not having a life. So we'll work on that.
Ooh, some shade from the mayor. Mayor John Tory, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Your time now,
Bye.
7:11 a.m. Dina, Sid, I hope you caught that shade, Sid.